Thanks, Sophie. Hello there. Good evening and welcome to Look North on the programme tonight. Concerns after the sudden closure of a law firm with branches across Yorkshire. We've heard from customers who fear house sales may fall through. Also tonight, new BBC research reveals the scale of police misconduct in our forces. Former Leeds United captain Dominic Matteo pays tribute to the life-saving team who treated him for brain cancer.
I call them superheroes. I really mean that, because they're just absolute legends. I mean, that word in football gets bandied about all the time, legends and all that. They're the real heroes, the doctors and nurses.
And last orders? Not yet. The community pulling together to save a traditional village pub.
And a few of us woke up to scenes like this, a sprinkling of snow in places. I think there'll be a little bit more snow for high ground later tomorrow and overnight into Friday. And I'll be back at the end of the programme with all the details on that.
Hello there, it's lovely to have your company this evening. We start tonight with a Sheffield-based law firm which has a network of solicitors across the country that's closed down suddenly, leading to job losses and customers demanding answers. PM Law shut down on Monday without any warning. Our reporter Ollie Constable has been following developments on this story. He joins me now from the firm's Sheffield headquarters. Ollie, what more do we know about this?
Well, Amy, PM Law Group said it handled tens of thousands of legal cases every year. From family law to conveyancing, they were big players with 600 members of staff. Well, they acted as an umbrella company for lots of those smaller independent solicitors firms. Signs have been placed on the windows of some of those offices following the sudden closure this week. Staff turned up to work to be told that the businesses could no longer trade because of what the notices said were regulatory matters. Well, let's hear now from Melanie Griffin from Penistone. She found out through Facebook that her house sale was now in limbo because of the closure of her local solicitor's firm.
Panic, stress, because it's already been a bit of a stressful situation, obviously house moving and everything else. Yesterday morning, me and my father-in-law went to the offices, but that was short. We've tried calling, obviously we don't get through. So we haven't heard anything from Pennine Law or anybody else right now.
Well, another woman, Catherine Hobson from Sheffield, told me today that she was too upset to speak to us on camera. Her mum died last week with a local firm dealing with the inheritance. She told me that we've called the number, which is just dead. It doesn't even ring. It's a fair amount of money and there's a worry that we might now lose it. Well, one solicitor that I've been speaking to today said there was no immediate solution and called this a complete disaster. His advice for people caught up in this is to try and find a local reputable solicitor to try and take on their case, but with lots of requests potentially for lots of people being affected by this. He said it would take a long time to unravel. The Solicitors Regulation Authority said it had been inundated with calls and had recently launched an investigation. In the last half an hour, they sent us a statement and told us that as a result of our initial investigation, we're taking the decision to intervene into the group of firms. An intervention means we take possession of all documents and papers held by the firm, take possession of all money held by the firm, including clients' money, and where a firm is still trading, close it with immediate effect. Work happening all the time, and it's a hope for clients and customers that there'll be more positive news. Amy.
Yeah, let's hope so, and we'll keep you up to date with that. Thank you, Ollie. And there's also been worrying news for staff at the energy firm Drax today. The company, which is based in Selby in North Yorkshire, says it may be cutting more than 300 jobs. The Unite Union has today called the news shameful, while Selby's MP described it as awful news. Tom Ingle is at Drax for us tonight. Tom, what more can you tell us from there?
Good evening, Amy. Not an awful lot more. Drax is, of course, a significant landmark, a significant electricity generator meeting 6% of the country's needs, and also a significant employer, as you say, not just here, though, but in North America, too, where biomass, that's wood to me and you, is harvested, transported across the Atlantic, and then burnt here to create electricity. We do not know where these jobs might be lost, but as you say, the Union United said it's shameful. The local MP, Keir Mather, has said we need more details of what these plans are, and we've asked Drax themselves to clarify, and they've sent us this statement which says we're focused on driving growth in our flexible generation business, creating new options and opportunities at Drax Power Station beyond 2031 and advancing future uses of sustainable biomass. We are commencing a consultation process in the UK and will be briefing colleagues in North America on changes that could result in a reduction of more than 350 roles across the Drax Group. Now again, according to the Union Unite, the Drax Group employs more than 3,000 people, so we could be looking at a workforce reduction of around 10%. Amy will be keeping an eye on these plans.
Indeed, Tom, thank you. You are watching Wednesday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. We meet the West Yorkshire woman who gave up her job to rescue hedgehogs instead. Now, on World Cancer Day, the former Leeds United player Dominic Matteo has praised surgeons at Leeds General Infirmary who saved his life, calling them legends. The football pundit, who was diagnosed with an aggressive brain tumour 6 years ago, is still unable to read and drive, but living life to the full. He wants to share his story to give others hope.
I feel very privileged and very lucky to be here today talking about it, because I'm always about trying to help somebody who's in a tough position. Because I know how it feels, I know how it looks.
Dominic Matteo, a Leeds United. After experiencing blurred vision, he went to the doctors and was referred for an MRI. A last-minute scan just days before he was due to visit Singapore with his old club Liverpool proved life-saving.
I trained that morning before I went to hospital. I walked into the hospital feeling fine, really fine. And then by time when she brought me out the scan, I didn't know what had happened and where I was.
Within 48 hours, he was having life-saving surgery to remove a brain tumour. He lost the ability to do the most basic skills.
I kind of relearned how to have a shower, relearned how to brush my teeth, even reading, writing. It's tough, it's really tough. The hardest thing for me at that point was losing them skills that I had, especially when I work in football and you know, you're losing certain things that you know you need.
Dom had been living with the brain tumour since childhood. Mr Ryan Matteo and the team at Leeds General Infirmary performed the life-saving surgery to remove it.
Dom's tumour was something we call an anaplastic ependymoma, and these are tumours that arise from the lining of certain areas of the brain, the ependymal cells, very rare. And the anaplastic bit relates to the fact that it was more aggressive and faster growing, which probably explains the condition that he was in when he came in, because it would have grown quite quickly and caused swelling in the brain.
How thankful are you to the team that saved your life?
What they do, I call them superheroes. I really mean that, because they're just absolute legends. I mean, that word in football gets bandied about all the time, legends and all that. They're the real heroes, the doctors and nurses.
Dom faces challenges with his short-term memory and can no longer drive, but is living life to the full and still working in the football world. Reading is still a struggle, isn't it? How do you get through those challenges?
With a bit of humour and a bit of fun and a bit of laugh. You know, some of the lads I work with at Leeds United, they know when I've not quite found the word. They're all there on hand, which is a team thing, isn't it? I'm just lucky. I do count myself very lucky every day. Every day is a bonus for me. That's how I approach my life.
Such a great fella, and thanks very much to Dom and his wife Jessica for allowing us into their homes. Well, joining me now is Professor David Sebag Montefiore, who works alongside the team involved in Dominic's care. Now, today the government has revealed a 10-year cancer strategy that's promised earlier diagnosis and faster treatment, with an aim that 3/4 of patients are surviving cancer for at least 5 years by 2035. Professor, what do you make of that news? What difference will that make to cancer patients in our region?
So, Amy, I think it's really important news. This is a real milestone in actually the approach to cancer in the UK. We haven't had a cancer plan in place for the last 5 years, and by doing so and set out a real ambition to actually make a difference for patients with cancer in the future. So actually being able to cure 3 out of 4 patients with cancer by 2035, compared with the 6 out of 10 that we do today, is a really big step, and we've got a clear roadmap that actually is really set to actually deliver that plan.
Let's talk about rare cancers, which is something that Dom had. What will
Yes.
the cancer plan do for them?
So it's really great to see that actually the government have actually prioritised rare cancers as part of this cancer plan, because that's not something that's been in place before. And it's really important that patients with rare cancers get a level playing field. And they're sometimes neglected in terms of the priority and also the research investment. Some of the things that are being recommended are that individual centres will get access to specialist teams to ensure patients get the best treatment for those patients. Because with rare cancers, sometimes smaller centres will only treat a very small number of patients. Secondly, there'll be an automated communication to patients with rare cancers to let them know which clinical trials are available to them. And I think by setting this priority and already an indication of an increased investment, increased research to make a difference is very welcome.
Yeah, let's talk about that, invest in research, because we know it's been chronically underfunded, brain cancer in particular, 32 million to boost brain cancer research. How much is that needed and what will it enable you to do?
So absolutely, research is vital to allow us to make progress, not only in brain cancer, which is a particular priority, but other rare cancers which are a focus of us at the University of Leeds and Leeds Teaching Hospital Trust through the Leeds Cancer Research Centre. So increased research is really important to allow us to understand how these cancers are responding to treatment, being able to predict through the understanding of biology who is most likely to benefit and who's not, identify the new treatments and translate them into new approaches. So bigger and more frequent steps to really make progress.
And how confident are you that we could be offering more treatments for things like brain cancer soon?
So I'm very confident that this will actually allow us to make a difference. For example, in Leeds, we're already making a difference with the available funding. So 3 quick examples are in brain cancer, a clinical trial that's testing a cannabis-like drug. Secondly, in blood cancer, testing less intensive treatment to improve cure rates. And thirdly, in my area, in anal cancer, shorter, lower dose treatment to actually produce better results for patients. With more investment, we can do that at a broader scale and really make a difference for patients with rare cancers.
Yeah, let's hope so. Thank you so much for coming in. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
OK, let's have a look now at some other stories from around our region that are on the BBC News website and the app today. You can scan the QR codes that are on the screen, by the way, if you want to read those articles in full. First up, the Prime Minister has said that he's deeply concerned by allegations that a grooming victim was abused by a serving South Yorkshire police officer. The issue was raised by Reform UK MP Suella Braverman during Prime Minister's questions. An illegal rubbish dump in Keighley that was covered with old mattresses, wood and litter has been cleared. Bradford Council say illegal waste disposal will not be tolerated. And what did you do on your wedding night? Well, one couple in North Yorkshire spent theirs rescuing an injured bird of prey. Of course they did. And you can get more details on those stories and everything else that's happening right across our region by downloading the BBC News app. Next tonight, more than 400 police officers and staff working for forces across Yorkshire have committed gross misconduct. That's behaviour serious enough to justify dismissal in the last 5 years. A Freedom of Information request by the BBC found that many of the offences were sexual in nature or domestic abuse related. Here's Abgiola to tell us more.
Yes, Amy, gross misconduct means a breach of the police's standards of professional behaviour that's so serious it justifies dismissal. In most cases, the officer or staff member was sacked or would have been sacked had they not already resigned before their misconduct was proven by a tribunal. In West Yorkshire, the number of officers and staff committing sackable offences has risen more than fivefold, from 8 in 2020 to 42 last year. Those offences included crimes such as rape, possessing indecent images of children and domestic abuse. West Yorkshire Police told us they're investigating more criminal and conduct matters than ever before, but said it was important to stress that it's not necessarily due to any increase in corruption or decline in standards, but is instead a result of increased reporting. Alison Lowe, West Yorkshire's Deputy Mayor for Policing, says the rise represents a change in culture.
My reaction is actually one of relief. The numbers are coming through the officers and staff who should never have been appointed here in West Yorkshire, one by one, are being exited through the misconduct processes that are improving year on year. And the exit of these officers and staff, I think, should give the public more confidence in policing.
In North Yorkshire, the number of gross misconduct cases doubled between 2020 and 25, but the numbers are lower than in West Yorkshire. 6 cases were recorded last year. The force told us in cases of sexual or domestic abuse or any misconduct that breaches our professional standards, we're unapologetic about holding colleagues to account. A total of 114 gross misconduct cases were recorded in South Yorkshire between 2020 to 2025, though it's worth noting the number recorded last year, 16, is lower than the 18 recorded in 2020. The force said whilst this number represents a small fraction of our workforce, we do not underestimate the damage these cases do to the public's trust and confidence, and even one case is one too many. Carmel Offord from the Yorkshire-based charity IDAS says people must feel confident reporting their experiences to police.
I mean, it's really important that people feel confident reporting to the police, and any reports like this can make people feel concerned. And that's why independent charities like ourselves are so important and play a vital role in making sure that survivors feel that there is somewhere they can go to talk through what's happened to them, and they can receive that impartial, confidential advice and support, and help them to make sense of what they might want to do next, whether that's reporting to the police or not. We can provide that support.
High-profile cases, including the murder of Sarah Everard by police officer Wayne Cousins in 2021, have placed police conduct under renewed scrutiny. West Yorkshire Police said events after Miss Everard's death had, rightly so, placed a focus on internal culture in the police. They said, "We've come a long way, but we know there's more to do to continue to build trust and confidence in the communities we serve."
Thanks, Abby. Let's go on to sport now. And in rugby, there's a moment every year when we know the new Super League season is almost upon us. The 2026 launch event has been taking place today in Manchester. Players and coaches from every club gathered to share their thoughts with the media on what's to come. And there was special attention focused on the 2 newcomers, Bradford Bulls and York Knights, who everyone wanted to speak to. It all gets underway a week tomorrow when York Knights host last season's champs, Hull Kingston Rovers.
All the boys are excited to sort of start and test themselves against, probably the best players in the country. So, just looking at training and how the boys have, been going over the pre-season, I think we're more than ready for it.
We know the journey ahead for us, but we're really excited by it. We've had numerous conversations as a group of what the season looks like. But we know we'll be going out there every week to compete and to win games.
The restoration of an 18th century North Yorkshire village pub owned by the community is featuring in a TV series presented by comedian John Richardson. Now, the Plough, that's it, in Fadmore near Kirby Moorside, closed in 2011, but it was bought 2 years ago by a group hoping to bring it back to life.
A few months ago, I visited a beautiful village in North Yorkshire where a community had raised the cash to buy their local.
It's safe to go in, yeah?
Yeah.
Wowee.
It's called The Plough, and anyone can become a shareholder to help get the pub back on its feet.
Last orders at the Plough near Kirby Moorside in the North York Moors was 15 years ago. But thanks to community spirit and a famous comedian, it's on the verge of being reopened. John Richardson is a shareholder.
My dream for a pub is, I want to be sat at the end of a bar with a nice local pint and a sort of a dog asleep on a flagstone floor in front of a fire next to me. But actually, the core of that village, they understand what the pub represents beyond everything you might think of around going for a pint. Most of them don't drink, and they're there 6, 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning in the freezing cold, building and getting mucky and hurting themselves and getting injured for no money at all.
John will help in a different way to the rest of us, maybe.
The pub dates back to 1782 and used to be the hub of the community. 165 residents have put money in to create Fadmore Community Pub Limited. They've purchased the property with the help of a grant from the government's Community Ownership Fund.
It's brought us together really well. After the COVID, everyone was a bit tired. You didn't really know how to start again. Everybody wants to be here, and they come out for all the events in droves because it means so much to everybody.
They've brought in tradesmen, but most of the work is being done by volunteers to keep costs down.
Every time you open up a wall, there's a problem. That was something we had some sort of knowledge of before. We've all worked, or a number of us have worked with old buildings before, so we had an idea of what we were looking at, but there's no two ways. Every corner there's a hurdle.
They're still looking for people to invest with the aim of raising the first glass in the new pub in September this year. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North.
They've got the work cut out, haven't they? If that's got to be done by September, we will of course be there for opening night, raising a glass to it. Now, a couple from Otley who run a hedgehog rescue centre from their garage say they've returned more than 2,000 to the wild. Andrew and Diane Cook started taking in injured hedgehogs after they were both made redundant during the pandemic. Well, now they run Prickly Pigs charity full-time and say they're busier than ever. Nicola Reese has been to see them.
That's it. So let's give you away.
Diane Cook has become a bit of an expert at nursing hedgehogs back to health.
There we are. Let's have a look at you.
This one is recovering from a broken snout, which might explain why he's still a bit snuffly. Diane's garage in Otley is full of prickly patients, and they all have a story.
We do have them coming in, for instance, little one, Joy, she was bitten by a dog. They get caught in netting. Most of them are here because people have found them out in the daytime. So a hedgehog out in the daytime does need some kind of help. Oh, he was lovely, wasn't he?
He was, very friendly.
Diane and husband Andrew are hedgehog obsessed. What started as a hobby during lockdown has become a full-time venture. In 5 years, they've helped around 2,000 of these special creatures.
Some of them are really greedy, some of them are really snuffly, some of them are quite chatty, some of them can be quite grumpy.
They're just so unique. They just bimble around the garden. I always think of them a bit like a womble. They're just scurrying around doing their thing on a night.
Got about 35 in at the moment, haven't we?
We started with just 3 hedgehogs. We very quickly progressed to sort of 15 and then 25. And then realised we needed much more help than just the 2 of us. Got loads of great volunteers.
They are just fascinating little creatures that people don't often see very much anymore because they are on the red list now, so classed as vulnerable to extinction, unfortunately, in our country.
How's that? Loss of habitat means UK hedgehogs are in serious trouble. Diane says we all need to do more to help, and a hedgehog highway is a good way to start.
So a hedgehog highway is a hole only about the size of a CD that you can make in your fence, so that it means that hedgehogs can come into your garden and then they can eat the bugs. So that's a really good way of helping hedgehogs.
This little garage is full of poorly hedgehogs year round. Now Diane and Andrew are fundraising to improve it. After all, they say, hedgehogs deserve the best.
We do get really attached, and unfortunately the ones that are the sickest are the ones you get most attached to, because those are the ones you interact with the most. But the good thing is there's always another cute one.
We're just absolutely smitten by the hedgehogs, we are. Obviously we do have the sad side of things, but we know that we are giving them the best chance that they can have to get better and then go back into the wild. Is that nice? A bit snotty.
Nicola Reese, BBC Look North, Otley.
I mean, they're very cute, aren't they? Here's Keeley with the forecast.
Hello there, good evening. A few of us woke up to wintry scenes this morning. You can see a little bit of snow on the grass verges here in Denby Dale and some on the fields as well near Barnsley. Very misty, murky conditions with poor visibility as well, although we did see for most places it improve a bit through the day. You can get your pictures coming in to the Weather Watchers page. We're on socials as well. So what about the next 24 hours? Well, we have got some chilly air on the way and quite breezy conditions through tomorrow as well. Through the afternoon, outbreaks of rain, and for the very highest ground, we have got some hill snow in the forecast as well. It's all down to these occluded fronts pushing in from the southwest. This rain, sleet and hill snow will linger into Friday as well before it gradually eases through the day, and it still looks unsettled for the weekend, but not as cold. So a lot of cloud on the satellite picture from early on, and certainly through the morning it was really grey and grim out there, and there's a lot of cloud out there at the moment. It'll continue to thicken, mist, murk, some patchy light rain and drizzle for a time overnight, with temperatures only dropping back to around 4 or 5 degrees. The winds are going to pick up once again overnight, and it is going to be a blustery day once again tomorrow. A quick look at those high water times then, at 6:44 in Bridlington and at nearly 6:15 in Whitby tomorrow morning. So a cloudy start to the day with that mist and murk. It's going to be quite a windy, chilly feeling day. And you'll notice through the afternoon the rain spreading from the south, fairly light and patchy, particularly across parts of North Yorkshire, but beginning to fall as sleet and hill snow over the highest ground above around 300 or 400 metres. It really will feel chilly in that wind once again, with temperatures only getting up to 4 or 5 degrees, but feeling colder than that because of the strength of the wind. It may well be across some higher ground. We do get quite a few centimetres of snow as it will linger overnight into Friday. Friday, it gradually eases. It looks unsettled for the weekend, but not as chilly as it has been.
Well, that is it from us. Keely will be back with us live in the studio tomorrow night, and Abajola is here with your late news. I do hope you have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.